Voice, your vote. 3 candidates for City Council District debate.
That's going to be District 2. Incumbent Alessandra Anello faces off against her challengers, James Arthur Campos and Judy Gutierrez. ABC 7's Stephanie Valle begins our complete coverage.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Valle. We here at ABC 7 are continuing our complete coverage of the November election. Today, we focus on the race for City Council representative for District 2. District 2 covers Central El Paso and part of Northeast El Paso. The incumbent city rep is trying to keep her seat and is facing 2 challengers. We're hearing from all of them today. Now, because of the pandemic, we are holding this debate virtually. In alphabetical order, joining me now is City Rep Alessandra Anello, electrician James Arthur Campos, and retired city employee Miriam Judy Gutierrez. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to respond and, if necessary, 30 seconds for rebuttal. You will each be able to ask a question of one of your opponents, and you will have a 30-second closing statement. I will start in alphabetical order and rotate to the next candidate for each question. So this first question is for all of you. What is your reaction to the city's handling of the pandemic, and what public health and enforcement approach would you support if you were on the council? We'll start with you, City Rep Anello.
Yeah, I think at this point we can say that the enforcement has not been good, right? Watching the press conference today, it was very disappointing to see that nothing would be changing despite the largest number of positive cases that we've had to date. Myself and 2 colleagues have placed 10 items on the agenda for the next council meeting to address this, to expand testing, to look at doing at-home testing, specimen storage, to look at closing more businesses that are not essential, right? Gentlemen's club, strip clubs, event spaces, those are not essential and should not be getting away, kind of fudging the rules with TABC saying that they're serving food so they are a necessity. We also, one of the items is to look at how the city can be more enforceful. You know, when we spoke 2 months ago, it was about doing a light enforcement and giving fines. Well, now we want to increase the fines and we want to pull occupancies.
And the same question for you, Mr. Campos.
I think the city is doing a moderate kind of a job. One of the things you got to understand, nobody was prepared for this. You see, we can all say something that this should be done or we should have done this, but in reality, nobody was prepared for it. I don't believe that's closing all the businesses is really actually helping. We got to understand that there are some things here that are really should be focused on hygienics. We need to take care of ourselves, maintain social distance, wash our hands. You'd be surprised how many people actually go to different places and don't do that. So what we have to do is start focusing on hygienics, training the people so we can go ahead and start opening up. Most of the people are at home. They're not doing much. They're concerned. There's mental illness. There's other things that are affecting this society at this time. So if we don't start reevaluating the situation, we're not going to get anywhere.
And Ms. Gutierrez, the same question for you.
So I think the city leadership failed across the board. Today they announced that they bought 5 new buildings. Well, that's great. They did too little, too late. 1,100, we know that this has been coming for months and months and months, and the enforcement was little to nothing. And so I don't know what we tell the nearly 600 families that we're finally starting to do something, but it took almost 600 deaths for us to get here. So no, the city across the board, the county across the board has failed the citizenship of El Paso, and it has cost us in lives. And then in the future, it's going to cost us in medical. So many people who are getting sick. The ones that don't die are the ones that are going to have long-term effects, and we've yet to see what that's going to bring about.
And again, this next question is for all of you. City Council has repeatedly.
Something real quick. You said we had 30 seconds for rebuttal.
Okay, but we usually reserve the rebuttals for when someone has been individually singled out for for a response. So
Okay.
I was going to move on to the next question, which is, for all of you, City Council has repeatedly voted against efforts for the city to publicize cluster data or the specific locations of COVID-19 outbreaks. And the mayor has said the business itself can publicize that information. So do you think the city should release cluster data? And Mr. Campos, we'll start with you.
It's a very difficult question. You got to understand, if it's going to affect personal individuals, no, we shouldn't be sending out that information. But if it's affecting businesses in a sense where there's a lot of individuals that are involved, industries, etc., then we should protect them people. But when it's individuals, you got to be very, very careful how you do it. You could be breaking the law. There's other concerns. So one of the things is I've got to say it's got to be left to the city council who we can go ahead and inform and who we can.
And the same question for you, Ms. Gutierrez.
We absolutely need to release the cluster information. It's not a matter of, I think what they're going for is, we've got to watch the bottom dollar. It's not about that anymore. It is about a national pandemic. It is about the safe and healthy of our citizens. And we have to give everybody, all of El Paso, that information so that they can best decide what they want to do, how they want to do it. But we absolutely have to release that information. It is irresponsible for this city council, and I know it's divided, but we absolutely need to get that information out to the public.
And Ms. Anello?
Yes, absolutely. I was the council member who brought this item to council to disclose the clusters. The legal information that we were given from our city attorney, I believe it was an opinion, and I don't believe that it was correct. We as a city have released cluster data for other infectious diseases in the past in El Paso, and we need to do that now. People are not feeling safe, and with the numbers going up, it's becoming a little bit of a havoc. People nervous about going to the grocery stores. We need to be giving the data to make people feel safe and to make businesses who are following the rules that have not had an outbreak not suffer the consequences of those who are not. So 100%, I am the council member who has been fighting for this, and I will continue to fight for this.
And after the break, I will ask each of the candidates a question individually, and the candidates will each have a chance to question each other, which I can tell Mr. Campos would very much like to do. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break.